Now I start.
I'll watch France. So,
You're watch France.
and you
Well,
control that.
I'll do this. Okay. Hello, everybody. We got what?
Tons of ants.
Tons of ants. Yes. Well, that's what happens when you're here. Anyway, so we had an adventuresome day yesterday. We had a day that started off with 2 appointments for her. Finally, by the time we were done, we had 3 appointments. I had an appointment for me. Let's just kind of, we tried to do this last night and camera gave us grief, and so hopefully
Other
we'll get this.
Not gave us grief, but other things happened.
Yeah. I was wondering if I was giving her grief. So, anyway, the yesterday started the day off with a nice trip to get haircuts, and you like them?
Mine's not as good because she had a special cool brush. I need to get one. She told me which kind to get. I just got to remember what it was.
She says it, but her hair looks great, doesn't it? It does. Anyway, we had trying to live budget friendly, right? So we ended up going to a cosmetology school for haircuts, and
It was great.
it was great and cheap.
Watch ants.
And not expensive at all. The reason that haircut yesterday was important, we've got our church homecoming coming up, but both of us were late getting haircuts. One of us had tried to get a haircut, I don't know, 7 or 8 times in the last 6 months, and oh well.
Oh, and real quick though, for those that are wondering, my husband did work. He got his hair cut over his lunch break. And the wonderful thing about remote work is he can work in the passenger seat while I drive.
I do that.
So, for all of you that are worried that he's not getting his work done, he got his work done. He even worked an hour later to make up for the appointment.
True story. So, the part of the reason why the haircut ties into the rest of the day, besides being a timed part of what we did yesterday, is that the reason the haircut was yesterday and not a month ago was that she was in the hospital
2 months ago, because that was January. It's March.
2 months ago now. Oh my goodness, the year is flying by already.
Yes.
And so the haircut was supposed to be 2 months ago. She was in the hospital with signs of an infection, and the doctors thought that because she had a diagnosis of antiphospholipid syndrome, that could be causing a biofilm to form on the central line. Tell me if I'm getting this right. And that could be causing the infectious type reaction, including a fever and chills.
Because the bacteria forms on the biofilm.
Yeah.
That could cause it to get into the bloodstream. And they were worried that if I kept my central line, that I would keep getting these constant infections. So that's clarify that, I guess.
Yeah. And so that's why the haircut got pushed to yesterday. And me, I just don't take time to get haircuts unless I take time to get a haircut.
And it was on the way to Mayo.
It was on the way to Mayo, and it was cheap. Did we mention cheap? So but why does that factor into the Mayo trip? Well, we went to see a rheumatologist at Mayo to discuss the whole antiphospholipid and infection and infectious diseases and all of that. And it came quite surprising to us when the rheumatology doctor says, it's a simple thing when the doc says, "Hey, why are you here?" I equate that with, what do you think this appointment's about? Because I think something, maybe we're not on the same page. So anyway, And we started to tell him, and the doc said, you don't have antiphospholipid syndrome, or at least you don't have an official diagnosis of this.
Because I only met one of the criteria.
And that criteria was?
I have the antibodies in my bloodstream. So every time I have my labs, they find the antibodies for antiphospholipid. And the lab work keeps getting higher and higher each time I have it done. I actually had 2 within the last year. Or I had it last year and then I had one this year. And even from then, it's gotten higher. So I have the antibodies, but I don't have the second criteria, which is...
So the official diagnosis can only come after there have been blood clots, and there have been no blood clots. When the doctors told us initially that the diagnosis was there, they said, well, you haven't had any blood clots, and told her, take baby aspirin to avoid clots and things like that. And then we've been going off of that assumption for now.
Since 2016 was my first lab work, I think.
I think you're right. I think somewhere in the 10-year range. And interestingly, the doc...
Ants.
Yep. The doc, in telling us there's no antiphospholipid, we're all just like,
Great.
whoa, okay. And so he's consulting with rheumatology to confirm. And
no, hematology.
Hematology, that's what I meant. One of the ologies. He was not going to confirm with the theology, but that's probably another
God
story
already
for another day.
knows.
He does. He knows what we've got going on and what we will have going on. But the hematologist is going to confer, review the record, answer several questions for the doctor, and also he's going to ask the infectious diseases doctors why they said what they said about the antiphospholipid causing the film, causing the infectious reaction, things like that.
The good news is, and this is why it's confusing, because we see it as possible good news because maybe that means that it won't affect my central line. However, the confusing part is I'm still developing these films more often than I should be. Everybody, okay, let's go back. Everybody who has central lines do develop this film, and what do they call it? Is it a fibrin sheath? I get
Yes.
that name wrong. Anyway, that does get developed. But for some reason, my body is forming it faster. And they just assumed that because I had the diagnosis, which would have been right, because the doctors at the hospital were just going based on my records, okay? So they did everything right. Please don't think we're saying they didn't. And honestly, I don't think 10 years ago, I don't think the doctor that diagnosed me was necessary. I think I had an ant on me. I don't think the doctor that diagnosed me was necessarily doing wrong because he was being very precautious. And maybe 10 years ago, you didn't have to have both. I don't know. That's 10 years ago. We're not looking back. We're looking forward. And
Hopefully the wind is not cutting too much into the sound.
yeah, because we don't have our mics on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's go that way.
for those of you that are that do have the diagnosis of antiphospholipid and do not have any blood clot history, one thing to note, and this is one thing we found out, it could be dangerous if you have a diagnosis for it and end up having to go to the hospital because you may be either mistreated in the sense of not given the proper treatment because of that diagnosis, or what was the other? It was backwards.
It was something about they may take precautions that are unnecessary or
That
give
could
the
be-
wrong medication or not give the right medication
Exactly.
based off of that diagnosis being out there.
So if you've been diagnosed or given a diagnosis and never had a blood clot, that might be something to talk to your doctor about. So good news, like we said last night in our short, for my for the Instagram, my Instagram, great news. Because it's one less thing we have to worry about, because antiphospholipids can be very dangerous. But confusing news, because why do I meet that one criteria and why do my levels keep going up?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you happen to be a doctor and you know what could cause it, hey,
Let us know.
comment, please.
Yeah.
I'd like to know. We can tell my doctor.
Right.
Anyway,
And here's the thing.
ants.
Yep. We trust our doctors.
And we
That's
trust
why-
God
Yeah,
gave us these doctors.
absolutely. And we trust that they're doing the best they know how. And we also trust that sometimes they get it wrong.
They're human.
And they're human. And a part of caring for each other is that we do our due diligence to check things, pay attention, ask good questions. When the doc says something that contradicts something you've already heard, start to ask why.
Slow down.
Okay. And it's almost, I think walkie time's almost over.
Yeah.
and really learn to deal with it as a medical group team, because neither of us are doctors, have never been to medical school. I barely passed high school biology. No, it's true. I like to sit in the auditorium and read, not take notes.
Well, biology was one of my favorite subjects. It could have been because I love my teacher so much, but still.
My teacher was fine. I just didn't care for biology.
Sorry, I got us off track.
Squirrel. But the point of it is, we're gonna start heading back in and corral this thing here in a moment. But the point of it is that we are our own advocates. We have to be. The doctors are going to do the best they know how, but the only thing that we can do is really ask questions, pay attention to what they're talking about, and be as well informed as we can, having no medical school experience whatsoever. I do often say that we have got a life experience MD, but that doesn't cut anything and will not get you a license anywhere. But just take care of each other and speak up for yourselves, speak up for each other. One of the reasons we go to appointments together is so that we can make sure between the two of us we get all the questions asked and answered. Because we forget unless we write stuff down. And so anyway, that's the update, and we're going to try and do these more walks a little bit more frequently. Hopefully a little bit more stable.
And hopefully the ants won't be as bad.
Ants in Florida, nothing like it. All right, well, so if you have had issues with doctors making a misdiagnosis, we're not trying to bash doctors. We're just informing and talking, having a conversation. Let us know in the comments. Do the thumbs up thing and share with your friends. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time. And never forget, Jesus loves you.
And so do we.